There's a question here in regards to talaq. Someone was in contact and they wanted to know that unfortunately their daughter was in a situation where she was now about to be divorced, and unfortunately this is the first time this is happening in their family. They were quite distraught and they wanted to know the method recommended by Sharia, by Islam, about how to go with an Islamic divorce. Now, Islamic divorce and talaq, even though it is something which is not does not have a very positive connotations, it is important to understand that that is not the end of life. Allah Ta'ala, there are situations in which Allah Ta'ala has recommended talaq. For instance, وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعَتِهِ. If the marriage comes to a point where reconciliation is no longer possible, and it will continue to add to the misery of both parties, or either, and they seek divorce, then Allah Ta'ala says if they did so and if they agreed to it, Allah will يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعَتِهِ. Out of His grace, Allah Azza wa Jal will fulfill the needs of both parties. So do not be distraught over that because of a situation like that has arisen. But especially if it's not a fault of yours, turn to Allah Azza wa Jal and have faith in Him. Inshallah, something better will come out of it. When it comes to talaq, there are 2-3 points to remember. Firstly, talaq should not be should be only one talaq, and there should not be more than one. There is a common misconception, common kind of misunderstanding, that people, when it comes to talaq, they think that talaq will not be effective until they use the word 3 times, or they issue 3 talaqs. So there are people who often say talaq 3 times, or they give 3 talaqs at once. That this is in fact haram. This is a major sin. This is forbidden, and anyone who does that knowingly or considers it to be halal may even be pushed out of the fold of Islam, because he's considering something that is forbidden to be part of deen. Normally it is because of ignorance, so nobody would give any such verdict and such ruling. But what is important to understand, that issuing 3 talaqs at once is forbidden, and it's haram, and it's not permissible. So if you want if you want to divorce your wife, then what Sharia suggests is that give only 1 talaq, and that's it. Leave the lady, the woman, until she completes her iddat after the talaq, and thereafter, if she wants to marry someone else, then by all means she'll be able to, and you do not need to give her second or the third talaq. It may happen that after the end of the iddat, both of you may feel that, oh, that was a mistake, that was an error, and you you like to rectify it. You would then be able to remarry again, and that is perfectly okay. And if you didn't, then at least you parted in a manner that is prescribed by Islam, that is recommended by Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is the first point. If you want to give your wife talaq, or the wife wants to know what's the Islamic method of talaq, then she should ask for only 1 talaq, and that talaq be issued, and not 2 or 3 at the same time. That is the first point here. The second point to remember here is that talaq should be given at a time when the wife is not menstruating, when she's not in her menses, when she's not going through that period of impurity. That is when the talaq should not be given. When she is in that state of menstruation, that's not when the talaq should be given. Talaq should be given after she comes out of that phase, and the couple, rather than sleeping together thereafter in that tuhur, in that time of purity, the husband should pronounce 1 talaq, or in writing give 1 talaq. So that is the sunnah method. If the husband issues talaq when she's menstruating, or after menstruation they had the matrimonial relationship, they slept together, then he decides to issue talaq in that same period before the subsequent period of menstruation, then that is something which Sharia does not like, and that is something which should be avoided. The third important point to remember here, the point is that people should think about giving a gift at the time of talaq. Talaq is not about creating hatred. Talaq is not about declaring war. Talaq is not about building walls of separation between families or between people. That's not what talaq is for. Talaq is a way out. It's a solution to problems, not a problem in itself. So it should be treated as a solution, not as a problem. There are many families where people, and this unfortunately comes a lot of it falls back to the attitude of people. Some people give talaq to their wives in order to punish them, so they'd have 2 3 children with her, and then when he wants to punish her, he would give her talaq, because then he wants her to raise those children single-handedly. Such people are cruel, they are evil, they are filthy, they are dirty, and they should be ashamed of themselves. That is wrong. However, it is, if that is not what talaq is meant for, that's not what talaq is prescribed for. Talaq is prescribed for something else. So it is important to bear in mind that the sunnah or a mustahab thing at the time of talaq is that the husband also gives some kind of gift at that time, just to kind of maintain a degree of harmony. So you leave at a good note, at a positive note, and part your ways because you realize that you are not compatible to one another. So on a happy note, on a good note, I may not be happier for many, but on some kind of positive note, if you part your ways, that's what the Shaykh recommends. And this is also mentioned in the adab of talaq in Surah Al-Baqarah. So these are 3 points, basic ones to remember. May Allah Ta'ala grant us the understanding and may He give us the tawfiq.